stay focused. The problem's so sick they can't find the diagnosis, and hex is the prognosis. How many of you know this? 10,000 X gains and many people jealous. They get with pulsechain just to become religious zealots. I do this for the kids in the hospitals with no parents, left to fend for themselves. The system, I can't stand it. 1 minute you're in hex, the next you're a banker. You go from being sovereign to being manhandled. Censorship is real, they want you to become speechless. That's why I'm relentless, I'ma show you what a beast is. This for the truth seekers who not afraid of the power, no matter who it reaches. Use your brain, people, and think for a change. Tired of the struggling? Then you become the change. You don't have to be in prison to have your mind in chains. Stop believing you're a slave, then maybe you'll be saved. What's going on, everybody? It's your host, the Crypto Wonder of the Crypto Wonder Podcast. Hope you're doing well. And as always, let's get right into it. What's going on? I hope you're having a good day, a good morning, a good evening, wherever you are, So, this last week, so many things happened in the crypto space, right? And there's a couple things I want to touch upon that have been sort of like certain, I guess, revelation, if you want to call. It's all based on observations and some pensive moments that I had, right? So first and foremost, let's think about some of the announcements that Richard made, with as far as Pulse. V2.5, right, is the next, I guess, iteration of test nets, of all the test nets that have to happen, right? 2.5, he says 2B. I don't know, I don't hear about version 3 anymore, so maybe 2.5 will be the last, and then it's off to the races. But who knows? We shall see. We shall see. The AMM, there's improvements there. We heard there's a bridge. So there's, I guess the sacrifice balances, we have to see. There's work that got to be done. There's work that's being done. So it's good to hear about. Any update is any update is good, but ultimately we waiting for the green light for pulsechain to, listen, launch it, launch. He sounds like he's getting a little impatient himself. I'm gonna keep it tall with you all. He sounds like he's really keeping it. He's being a little impatient himself. I don't know if it was his last live stream where he said, I caught. Yeah, but because people been waiting. People been waiting, and Ethereum is not moving any better. I saw a clip recently where, one of the co-founders or the face of Ethereum right now, good old VB, Vitalik Buterin, was in some type of stream where they asked him, how long you think it's fair enough to say that Ethereum 2.0 will launch in 6 years? And he was like, yeah. What about 6 years? More years, 6 for 2.0. So that's why right now Pulse is, listen, and if you know about DeFi, if you know about, smart contract space within the blockchain, within this whole crypto thing, and Pulse chain is just like, it's the thing right now to really, really look forward to. Seriously. And I think it's going to bring changes, more changes that we can't even imagine right now. You know what I mean? And I can see a certain level of evolution that's taking place within the community that's bringing a lot of questions. It's making me question a lot of things. Not just about the fact that thousands of people are going to get airdrops. Thousands of people within the Ethereum community are going to get airdrops because there are thousands of different coins that work on, smart contracts, dApps, whatever, whatever. They're going to get free airdrops on the pulse chain. It's not the aspect that I'm thinking as far as evolution. And maybe this is what I'm about to say is a updated view that people are reaching for themselves. People talk about decentralization, permissionless, borderless, censorship resistant. It's messed up how YouTube still hasn't given Richie Rich his channel back. It's messed up. But the same thing, but it's happened to him repeatedly. But I think this is like a long period though, days. Maybe he's not getting it back this time. Who knows? When you start talking about things that people don't want you to talk about, they're going to censor you. And he started to, talk about certain topics that didn't fare well for the powers that be. And so indirectly, I guess it's pull the plug. I mean, that's what happened to Trevon James. He had the biggest channel in the entire Hex community, the biggest channel, even bigger than Richard. He got his channel pulled. His big channel, not the channel he's rocking with right now. His big channel. Well, quote unquote big. Compared to, whatever. So this censorship thing is real. But going back to what I was saying, a lot of times, they say crypto is disruptive, groundbreakings, revolutionary. You're going against central banks. You're going against oppressive powers of the financial legacy system, right? Reclaim the power. Give the power back to the people. Right? I mean, it sounds good on paper. It looks like it sounds good on paper. And I'm going to explain to you why I say that. Because a lot of times when we talk about, folks like to speak about sovereignty, including myself, right? Man of a certain age, I've been learning about this whole sovereign elements of things for a very, very long time ago. Because I was around individuals who encouraged me to learn about these things. And how to, really create your own system. Understand that you are your own governing body and entity. So no laws of wherever can rule you, right? This is what I was told. And I was giving anecdotal references and information to support this viewpoint. But then something clicked in my mind, in my young mind at the time. I must have been maybe, 17, 18 when I was exposed to these philosophies. Something clicked in my mind where how can these things be done as far as taking measures to claim your sovereignty if you don't have the power, not only within you to understand that you are powerful and that you have the power, but you don't have the power outside of you, an external entity to back you in your sovereign endeavors for the rest of your life, right? In other words, there's a term that a certain community calls this, where you relinquish all of these quote unquote documents that you were given. We were all given while we exist in live in the system, you give them back your social security card, you give them back your ID, right? Your birth certificate. You relinquish all these things because you're sovereign. You're trying to claim something, right? Within this land. You're trying to say to the powers that run this land, well, I'm talking about the United States, right? The corporation called the United States of America. That, you know, you're your own corporation, you're your own entity, you're your own governing body, and that these laws don't apply. And I was watching these individuals function and operate, and something didn't seem right to me, because I said, if this worked for you all, why aren't everybody else doing the same thing? If this is so probable or effective and as pronounced as they wanted me to believe, well, why aren't other people doing this? And there's different methods that I'm not going to even express on how, I was told I could, start to do this. And other people, I was young, impressionable, sovereign, fighting against the system, fighting against the machine. But the problem is you're still living in a place where everything is by rules, regulations, laws, policy that we have to follow. And then I found myself in a strange space, in a strange position, like a conundrum, right? You're acknowledging a certain reality, but you have to exist in a different aspect of reality. So how does it work for you? What do you claim? What are you doing? Are you going to claim, pump your fist in the air and say that you are a living contradiction, or that you are a living two-face, or that you are a living hypocrite? Because that's how it felt. And this was me in my late teens. If I'm going to claim something, I'd like to claim it 100%, not halfway. But I couldn't do that. I couldn't, I'm a T barely coming out of high school. I was in my last year in high school, like being exposed to this stuff. Or whatever. Not important. But the whole thing about it is, when you're talking about revolution, change, going against the banks, my goodness. Because of what the banks have done. It's not just about going against the banks and these legacy systems just for the sake of doing that. No, there are thousands of reasons why. But if you don't have the power, not only within you, but again, like I said, but behind you, it's a losing battle. It's a losing battle. And it pains me to say that it's a situation that I had to come to grips with many years ago, and I see it's happening now too in crypto. Because this is why I say all the time, you have to do your research, because this is about freedom, and freedom costs, right? Crypto is the only asset class that we know that has brought multiple gains of opportunities for people to uproot themselves out of financial hardship in a short period of time, relatively short period, much shorter, quicker time than anything in the legacy world. Anything in the traditional, old school, archaic financial legacy world. Crypto has brought more opportunities in a quicker period of time, much faster. But guess what? In order to get involved with crypto, you have to use legacy. You have to go through that legacy veil to get in and exit out. Like you have to still go through the veil. When you want to get in, you get your fiat dollar legacy, get into some type of on-ramp. It's possibly a corporation like Coinbase that participates and dances very well. They sleep in the same bed with legacy very well. Do what you got to do to try to get off that Coinbase and then do your thing in crypto. Try to be as most decentralized as you can, negative. But you try to convince yourself, yeah, this is decentralized, blah, blah, blah. Do what you do. Then, make a lot of money. And now it's time to come back. Now it's time to get out. You want to get out. You don't want to hold anymore because you made so much profit. So now you got to go back to legacy because you got to find a way to off-ramp. You got to go through hurdles, whatever. Go back to Coinbase or go back to however to then now incur capital gains tax. You got to pay taxes now. Legacy. You got to deal with legacy the whole time. This is the whole thing that's frustrating about this whole thing, man. And I don't like it. I don't. I mean, I do. I've done it. I'll do it. I'll continue. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that taxes are voluntary either. You know what I mean? And I've been a living hypocrite paying my taxes. Knowing on the books, voluntary. But I pay my taxes. That's what I mean by being a living contradiction. How do you because you have to live. If you're living in the system, you got to play by the rules. Unless you know how to, quote unquote, live off the grid, whatever that means. I don't even know what that even means. I could fantasize and dream about what it means. You're just not, in a sense, sort of like not reachable to the conditions and the confines by some type of organized, institutionalized political structure with their laws and everything, right? You're outside of that. Those things don't apply to somebody living off the grid. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I want to do that because I also live and enjoy life too. Like, it's just weird. I'm not saying I'm trying to live off the grid. I'm just presenting what's out here, what we've been dealing with. And why I keep talking about this is because I'm seeing how in Hex, oh man, there's been like this last month to 2 months or whatever, there's just been so many new revelations coming out with people and understandings and ideas that folks are just having to come to terms with reality. And it pisses me off, not the fact that people are coming to terms, but the fact that, we talk about, crypto and we need a better place and doing this and that and better systems. Everything is oppressive with the banks. And, you got to go through all these types of problems. So you go into crypto to escape that, to find a way, to find an answer, to find a tool to improve and allow ourselves to experience better aspects of living by financially becoming wealthy. But you still have to play the game because the man always has his hands in our pockets. The man will always have his hand in our pockets. I've seen people question, rightfully so, but still, it's like, if you're living in a capitalist society, like in the United States, everything is for profit. When it comes to capitalism, it's about profit. Don't knock the hustle, right? Like Jay-Z said years ago, but it's about profit. People are trying to find a way. So I see how folks have opposing views when people in the community charge fees to do certain things, X, Y, and Z. But then Those of us who people who judge those who charge fees, when you go and patronize your local vendor or into these stores, aren't we not charged fees for whatever we purchase, any service and product we buy? I don't, and then we turn the anger away from, we give each other smoke instead of directly going face on with the machine, going against them. We go and try to just fight against each other. Like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You know, you got to build generational wealth and deal with generational legacy shit. That's sad, especially when you're in crypto. I guess it's because times haven't evolved to a certain level where it could just definitely just separate it. It seems like it doesn't matter how far you can think with this technology. Some type of structure is going to have their hand. Some institution and government is going to have its hand to regulate some stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's frustrating, man. Have your hands in our pockets. I accept it for what it is because I'm in the system. But, when people talk about, like Richard even is talking about, or toying with the idea of creating his own nation state because the world sucks in his view. And I understand what he means. But imagine what it'll take to get that to happen. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying talk because this is the level of stuff in order to deal with just living like, you got to deal with these banks. They don't make shit easy for us, man. Look at how crazy it is just to acquire Hex. For some of us, it's nothing anymore because we've been in the space for years. We understand boom, 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 boom. We go through the steps. But for the no coiners that are outside of this, they're not interested. They're not interested in going through all these steps and hurdles just to acquire one token. And then you got to stake the token and pay fees left and right. Everything is a cost. Everything is a price. And then when we talk about, introducing some kind of legacy stuff into the thing, it's, you a sellout. This ain't crypto. But I get it. I get it. But if you don't have those parts, you still have to deal with the rules and regs. Again, go buy yourself a bottle of water. You're paying some kind of tax because it costs you money to get to where you got to go. Forget if you're driving and you got to pay gas. Or you want to acquire. Oh, I got quickly, I had to take care of something real quick, so I lost my train of thought. But I know what the topic is, right? So if people are trying to create situations or a system where that just breeds independence in such a way, right? There's going to be resistance. So I get that. I get the legacy powers that be don't want us to have anything. Your man over for wherever he's at, World Economic Forum, wants everybody to have nothing and be happy. He wants everyone to have nothing and be happy. I've said this a long time ago. Like this, it's out in the open. It's not even something that's talked in the clandestine, groups and affairs. No, it's out in the open. Great reset. Have nothing and be happy. Right? So you see all these digital types of whatever. The president over here is issuing this whole thing, study what this. Who cares? I don't care about all that. I'm not trying to break any laws either. I'm not stupid. I'm not. I understand it. It's just frustrating when you get to a point where you're just like, there's no type of perfect situation here. It's frustrating when you're in crypto and you see something, you see opportunities, you're able to actually visualize real change that can take place because you're living it. And then here comes elitist, globalist energy knocking on your door, trying to whisk and take everything, siphon everything away from us. But then you got to deal with it. Like it just it's upsetting, you know. Like I'm not trying to, it's easy to critique, it's easy to just say, oh, you got these guys talking about you got to be an accredited investor to get into such and such and such and such. I could easily just bomb on that whole premise, that whole thing right there. I easily can do the same thing. But then I'm thinking, okay, well, how do you appeal to the regular folks? How do you appeal to people who do want to create generational wealth and pass it on to their children and protect their wealth and preserve it? How do you do that when all these vehicles and products and systems that exist relate to legacy? They're from legacy. Unless you create something on your own, but you got to deal with legacy. And it pissed me off. I'm not shooting at these people. You know what I'm saying? It's not about that. Because some of y'all don't know how to just, you just try to just take anybody's words and try to use it against it. I'm not shooting at anybody in the Hex community. I'm just talking in general. It is what it is. I know somebody who has, people in general who have trusts, like all different types of trusts, living trusts, irrevocable trusts, all kinds of trusts. And they are faring very well with those types of products. We don't have that in crypto. At least not yet. In a sense where it's something different that appeals to that's decentralized, all this decentralization, and we haven't gotten there yet. We haven't evolved to that point yet. And it pisses me off, man. That's all. That's all. The fact that the powers that be still encourage all of us to continue to pay taxes. Like, really. Something that's voluntary. Do your research. No, we have to. We have to do it. Or else. In a sense, like, why even talk about it if you're just going to comply, right? Why do I even make content? Why do I even make content if I comply? I feel like I'm navigating through a maze of wilderness, from a contradiction, from a standpoint of being, a two-face. And then I'm watching people, like I've seen just folks who are just so not smart. They're just not smart at all. Will say things publicly out in the open on streams. Nobody in that you may even know, because this person is irrelevant actually. I'm not talking about anyone in Hex outside of the community, blah blah blah. And we're talking about how they're against the man and the machine, and they don't pay taxes and come get them and go get them, and they're old, like in their 70s. I'm like, you got one foot out the door. This is what you're leaving for everybody else? These are the broken plates you're creating for everyone else to fix and pick up? Like, what are we leaving for generations behind us? More confusion? It's annoying. It's annoying. It's annoying. It really is. Because in order to it's like crypto's supposed to be against the machine, but we are abiding by the machine. We're playing with the machine. We want to invite the machine to create situations, regulations, and more strangleholds on us. Because that's what's happening. It's a dance. It's something that I've realized even when in my career. where unions is this thing with unions. The history is rich, where unions go against administration and management. And then when you find out that a lot of times, sadly, unions are in bed with administration, that pisses me off. Stuff like that just bothers me. It just bothers me. It does. Because I understand coexisting, but you co-mingling and just there might as well not be any differentiation. When Coinbase went public, I kind of felt the way, but I didn't care for Coinbase anyway because they have done a bunch of different things that's just sideways. But when they went public, I kind of felt the way because I'm like, wait a minute, do we not want? I mean, if you can't beat them, join them type of situation. That's what it feels like right now with crypto. If you can't beat, crypto was created peer-to-peer, peer-to-peer, electronic cash, all that good stuff, all that hot shit. Go against, banking, Federal Reserve banks, central banks, these governments and their currencies, their debased currencies that are being devalued, that they control. That you have to have permission to take and use your money however you see fit. Crypto's supposed to go against that, give you freedom, or give you the ability to pay for your freedom. But now you have to kowtow and play the games, go by their rules, because we want to invite legacy. The way to invite legacy is by playing their game. You want to invite legacy into crypto by joining them full force. Just join, merge the two. There's no differentiation anymore. You might as well just call it crypto stocks, crypto equities, crypto commodity. Like, what do we, I don't know. I bought into I don't know. It's just what it is, man. It's very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I'm just speaking out, I don't care about it's not that I don't care. Let me change that. It's not that I don't care. Let me stop. I'm creating this content because I do care. But this is why I say, like, at least present. I try to present information to make you think. At least I try to. But I see, like, the efforts that are being made in the community. I judged, a bunch of stuff or criticize a bunch of stuff, but look, it's all, if it benefits people, I'm all for it. It's just I'm annoyed at how I'm just annoyed, man. I'm just annoyed. On ramp, off ramp. How do you on ramp how do you create a decentralized on ramp system or off ramp where no governing body or entity has a claim on anything you're doing, and then live in a system where you have to report everything you're doing, financially at least? Otherwise, you'll become an enemy of the state, right? Like, you can serve time. You can lose your freedom. But then in the next breath, you're like, oh yeah, crypto decentralized. Yeah, private keys, don't, not your keys, not your crypto. And okay. But then we deride legacy because we have no choice. I don't know, man. I don't like it. I don't like it. That's one of the things about crypto that we have a long way to go. Like as well as seeing like some real. There's so much that needs to be addressed. There's so much that needs to be addressed. I kind of wish that crypto would continue to thrive and flourish in a way where, even though it's happened already, financial legacy have no choice but to look at crypto and then join crypto, not have us join them. That's my thing. You know what I mean? Like, we're joining them instead of separating from them and creating our own. We're joining them instead of having them come to us. We're going to them, or not really come to us as if I didn't create anything. I'm just a participant like many other people are. I'm not a founder. Just a regular person. Just a regular person, man. And I'm watching us kind of like kowtow to the powers that be because we're living in a system governed by the powers that be. There's no other. So, it's weird, man. It's weird. But I also understand playing by the rules because you have certain objectives to fulfill. I get it. Keep your friends close and the enemies closer. You know what I mean? Perhaps that's the strategy. Art of war. Who knows? Rules of engagement. You know? But that shows you like there's a lot of growing pains that's involved with a lot of this. A lot of growing pains. A lot. A lot of growing pains. I remember years ago when I was looking at certain, before Robinhood, they had other apps. One of them, I forget the name, and it was appealing to, and not even Robinhood, like before, accredited investing. You have to have 1 million or better liquid or assets that total $1 million. And I'm like, wow, man, that's a segment of society, a huge segment of society that gets um, left out. You know what I mean? They get left out to participate in preserving or creating and preserving their wealth. Um, and then crypto came along and kind of like gave hope, right? It gave hope for something else. But I get it. Like if you got a bunch of dashboard money looking at you on a computer screen, just zeros and ones, a bunch of digits, and you want to take that out, oh, you got to go through some type of legacy format. You have to. And a lot of people, they take out their winnings, and where do they put it? In the bank. Legacy. They put it back in the bank because like the world hasn't like I can't buy anything in a store or any business out here, mom and pop joint, big box retail, theaters, whatever. I can't buy them using hex tokens, you know what I mean? Soon to be pulsechain and pulsex. I can't do that right now. You know what I mean? Can't even do it with Bitcoin right now. Forget about like other. I mean, Bitcoin has come a long way, sure, but there's a lot of issues with Bitcoin. That's why there's been so much advancement since. Um, but we still have such a long way to go. Such a long way to go. And I just want everyone to receive, like Richard said too, like experience mad gains, man, in every aspect of the way. Not just financially, but personally, professionally, you know, whatever aspect, whatever aspect. It is what it is. I'm watching the space grow, and Pulse Chain didn't even launch yet. And I'm watching, the community just expand and expand and expand. Wait till that joint drops. As far as mainnet launch, it's gonna be crazy. But it goes back to saying because with all the gains that are about to be made, because trust and believe, I don't even have a doubt anymore about it at all. There's gonna be multiple, 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 multiple gains. Do your own research. I'm not your financial advisor. Do your own research. The key is gonna be, how do you protect those gains? How do you preserve it so they could work for you forever? How? Maybe we gotta always play the game. Play that game. Play the game, yo. I'm not a communist. I'm not none of that. Like socialist, communist, aniness, all these is. Yeah, I don't care, man. I'm just a human being, man. I have my own set of views, opinions, and ideas. That's all. And I'm just talking, sharing an understanding and stuff. That's it. I hope people who push, who pull the strings, who really pull the strings in the world, right? I don't know. I don't know what position they're in. I don't even want to ever know. Period. Ever. But I just hope that it gets to a point where we reach a point where, people could just say, yo, this is just messed up. This is just messed up, man. We need to do better all around. You know what I mean? Seriously. Well, who knows if that'll ever happen. It is what it is. Push on, move on, push on. It is what it is. I'm out. Take care.